You think this message found you by accident. It didn't. Out of billions of people breathing at this exact moment, I am speaking to you, not the crowd, not the person beside you, you, because there is something inside you that has been silent for far too long. I need you now. Not because I am looking for another follower, but because the future is waiting for someone who refuses to stay ordinary. Right now, while the world is distracted, while millions are scrolling past their own potential, there is an invisible door beginning to open. Most people will never notice it. They will mistake it for another ordinary day, but if you stay with me until the end of this journey, you may realize that this is the moment everything begins to change. I have spent years sitting in rooms where billion-dollar decisions were made in minutes. I have watched companies rise from empty notebooks to global empires. I have stood beside people the world called lucky, only to discover that luck had very little to do with their success. What separated them from everyone else was something almost impossible to see. They answered the call that everyone else ignored. Every extraordinary life begins with a moment that looks completely ordinary. A quiet decision, a private promise, a single step taken before the applause exists. History never announces itself while it is being written. It whispers, and only those willing to listen become the authors of the next chapter. You have been taught to wait until you feel ready. That advice has stolen more dreams than failure ever could. Readiness is a myth created by fear. Confidence is not something you collect before taking action. Confidence is something you build because you took action. Think about that. Every person you admire once stood exactly where you are now, uncertain, questioning, wondering if they were enough. The difference is that they stopped negotiating with doubt. They made a decision before they had proof. They believed before the evidence appeared. That is the hidden currency of every remarkable achievement. There is a version of you that already exists somewhere beyond your current habits. That person wakes up with purpose instead of excuses. That person treats discipline like a best friend instead of a punishment. That person walks into every room carrying certainty instead of seeking approval. The tragedy is not that this version of you is impossible. The tragedy is that too many people spend their entire lives introducing the world to a smaller version of themselves, because they were afraid the real one would be rejected. Listen carefully. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. Potential is invisible until action gives it a face. You may have incredible ideas. You may have dreams capable of changing generations, but dreams locked inside your mind are like treasure buried beneath concrete, valuable yet unreachable. Every day you delay, someone with less talent but greater courage is moving ahead. That should not discourage you, it should awaken you. Talent may open a door, but relentless action builds the entire house. There is something powerful about the seasons of your life that felt unfair. The disappointments you wanted to erase. The nights you questioned your worth. The moments when nobody answered your calls, believed your vision, or applauded your effort. Those moments were never empty. They were building muscles that success cannot survive without. Pressure was shaping your patience. Rejection was strengthening your independence. Silence was teaching you how to hear your own conviction. Every setback carried a lesson disguised as pain, and every lesson was preparing you for responsibilities your current self could not yet carry. Most people chase comfort as if comfort is the destination. It isn't. Comfort is where ambition quietly falls asleep. Growth has always lived somewhere beyond convenience. Every breakthrough demands an uncomfortable conversation, an uncomfortable decision, an uncomfortable sacrifice, or an uncomfortable beginning. The question is not whether discomfort will appear. The question is whether you will interpret it as danger or as evidence that you are finally moving in the right direction. Imagine standing at the edge of an enormous mountain before sunrise. The air is cold, the path is hidden in darkness. You cannot see the summit. Every instinct tells you to turn around because certainty is nowhere to be found. Yet with every step upward, the horizon begins to change. Light reaches places darkness once owned. The same mountain that looked impossible from below slowly becomes proof that persistence transforms perspective. Life works the same way. You are not failing because you cannot see the entire path. You are simply standing at an altitude where the next piece of your journey has not yet been revealed. You keep asking for bigger opportunities while protecting smaller habits. That cannot continue. Extraordinary results demand extraordinary identity. Stop asking, how can I become successful? Start asking, who must I become to naturally create success? That single question changes everything. Success is not a destination you visit. It is a reflection of the person you repeatedly choose to become. Every disciplined morning, every promise you keep to yourself, every excuse you refuse to accept. These are the invisible investments that eventually produce visible wealth. And let me tell you something about wealth that almost nobody understands. Wealth begins long before money arrives. Money simply amplifies the mindset already living inside you. If your thoughts are driven by scarcity, more money creates larger fears. If your thoughts are driven by abundance, opportunity begins multiplying around you in ways that logic struggles to explain. Abundance is not pretending problems do not exist. Abundance is believing that your ability to solve problems will always become greater than the problems themselves. It is trusting that every challenge carries hidden value, waiting for someone courageous enough to uncover it. I need you now because the world does not need another spectator. It needs builders. It needs people willing to create instead of complain. It needs individuals who choose vision over distraction, discipline over excuses, purpose over popularity. Somewhere, someone is waiting for the solution only you can build, the words only you can speak, the example only you can become. You may not know their name, they may never meet you, yet your decision to rise will quietly change lives you cannot even imagine. There comes a moment in every extraordinary life when the noise of the world becomes quieter than the voice inside. Most people never reach that moment because they keep drowning their instincts with distractions. They keep asking strangers to validate dreams that were never meant to be understood by strangers. But you are different now. Something has shifted. You are beginning to realize that your future cannot be built on borrowed opinions. Every giant achievement began when someone decided that their inner conviction carried more weight than public approval. That is why I need you now. Not tomorrow, not when the timing feels perfect, but while your heart is still wrestling with uncertainty. Because courage is not born after fear disappears. Courage is born the instant you decide that your purpose deserves more attention than your fear. Have you ever noticed how diamonds are created? They spend years hidden beneath unimaginable pressure before anyone recognizes their value. If diamonds could speak during those years underground, they might mistake pressure for punishment. But pressure was never their enemy. It was their transformation. Your life has followed the same pattern. Every disappointment you survived was compressing your character. Every delay was strengthening your patience. Every closed door was redirecting your footsteps toward an entrance that could actually sustain the life you are destined to build. The greatest mistake people make is believing that painful seasons are evidence they are moving in the wrong direction. Often, pain is simply the cost of becoming someone your old life could never contain. I have watched brilliant people destroy extraordinary opportunities because they believed success required perfection. They spent years polishing ideas they never shared, waiting for flawless conditions that never arrived. Meanwhile, someone with half the experience and twice the determination stepped onto the same stage and changed the world. Perfection is one of fear's most convincing disguises. It whispers that one more week, one more course, one more plan, one more delay will finally make you ready. But every delay strengthens the habit of hesitation. Excellence grows through repetition, not hesitation. The marketplace rewards movement. Life rewards momentum. The future belongs to people who are willing to improve in public instead of hiding in preparation forever. You were never designed to live a life measured by survival alone. Survival asks, how do I get through today? Vision asks, what legacy can I create that outlives me? That single shift changes everything. Once your life becomes larger than your comfort, obstacles lose their power to intimidate you. You stop measuring progress by temporary emotions and start measuring it by permanent direction. Some mornings you will feel unstoppable. Other mornings you will question everything. Neither feeling should become your leader. Discipline must become your leader. Feelings are weather. Discipline is climate. Weather changes every hour. Climate shapes the landscape for generations. The wealthiest people I have ever encountered possess something far more valuable than money. They owned their attention. While everyone else allowed notifications, gossip, and endless entertainment to control their minds, these individuals guarded their focus like a priceless asset. because they understood a truth that most people ignore. Wherever your attention goes, your future quietly follows. Spend years feeding your distractions, and distraction becomes your identity. Spend years feeding your purpose, and purpose begins to shape every opportunity that enters your life. Attention is the invisible investment that determines visible results. Imagine standing beside an enormous river. On one side stands the person you have always been, familiar habits, familiar excuses, familiar limitations. On the opposite shore stands the life you secretly dream about. Greater freedom, greater impact, greater abundance. The bridge connecting those two worlds is not built from luck. It is built from daily decisions so small they almost seem insignificant. One more chapter read when everyone else stopped learning. One more workout completed when excuses felt convincing. One more conversation started instead of avoided. One more promise kept to yourself when nobody would have noticed if you had broken it. Brick by brick, choice by choice, that invisible bridge becomes strong enough to carry an entirely new identity across. There is another truth you must understand before your breakthrough arrives. Success does not simply multiply your strengths. It exposes your weaknesses. If you cannot manage small responsibilities, larger opportunities become heavier burdens instead of greater blessings. That is why your current season matters so much. The habits you build in private determine the responsibilities you can carry in public. The world celebrates victories it can see, but greatness is always constructed where nobody is watching. Every early morning, every disciplined evening, every promise honored despite inconvenience. These moments seem ordinary until one day they produce extraordinary outcomes that everyone else calls overnight success. Stop underestimating the power of your words. Every sentence you repeat to yourself becomes another brick in the foundation of your identity. If you constantly declare that life is against you, your mind begins searching for evidence to prove it. If you declare that every challenge is preparing you for greater influence, your perspective changes before your circumstances do. That is not wishful thinking. That is the psychology of focus. Your mind magnifies whatever you consistently feed it. Feed it fear, and fear expands. Feed it possibility, and possibility begins revealing doors that always existed but remained invisible to a doubtful mind. From this day forward, say these words until they become part of your character. I refuse to measure my future by my past. I create value wherever I go. Every setback strengthens my wisdom. Every challenge increases my capacity. I attract opportunity because I prepare for opportunity. I do not chase approval, I build excellence. My discipline is stronger than my excuses. My purpose is louder than my fear. My vision is greater than my circumstances. I am becoming the person my future requires. Remember this whenever life becomes difficult. Storms never ask permission before they arrive, but neither does the sunrise. Darkness always feels permanent while you are standing inside it. Yet every night in history has surrendered to the morning. Your breakthrough may not arrive according to your schedule, but it is shaped by what you do while waiting. Waiting is never wasted when you are growing. Delays become classrooms, obstacles become training grounds. Pressure becomes preparation, and one day without warning, everything you have been building in silence will begin speaking so loudly that the same people who overlooked you will wonder where you came from. That is why I keep saying, I need you now. Not because the world is missing another dreamer, but because it is desperately searching for someone willing to become proof that ordinary beginnings can produce extraordinary endings. Your next decision could become the moment your entire story changes. And when that day comes, you won't remember how long the road was. You will only remember that you had the courage to keep walking when every voice around you suggested turning back. The day will come when you look back at this version of yourself and barely recognize the person who once doubted what was possible. Not because life suddenly became easy, not because every obstacle disappeared, but because somewhere along the journey, you stopped asking life to become lighter and started becoming stronger. That is the moment everything changes. The world believes transformation happens in a single breakthrough, a viral success, or one extraordinary opportunity. The truth is far more powerful. Transformation happens quietly. It happens in the moments nobody applauds. It happens when you choose discipline over comfort for the 100th time. It happens when you stand back up after another rejection and refuse to let one chapter become the title of your entire story. Long before the world sees your success, your identity has already changed. And once your identity changes, your future has no choice but to follow. There is an invisible law that governs every remarkable life. The universe responds differently to people who have decided they will not quit. Opportunities begin appearing where others see obstacles. Conversations begin opening doors that once seemed permanently locked. Ideas arrive with unusual clarity. Confidence replaces hesitation. It is not magic, it is momentum. Every committed action sends a message to your own mind that you are serious about your future. Your brain begins searching for solutions instead of excuses. Your energy changes, your posture changes, your standards change, and eventually, your results change. That is why the smallest daily victories matter so much. They are teaching your mind to expect progress instead of defeat. I want you to imagine yourself standing inside a massive cathedral before sunrise. The room is silent. Towering pillars disappear into the darkness above you. At first, everything feels cold and empty. Then, without warning, the first beam of sunlight breaks through the stained glass windows. Colors explode across the walls. What looked lifeless moments earlier becomes breathtaking. The room did not change. The light revealed what had been there all along. Your potential is the same. You have spent too much time believing you lacked greatness, when in reality, greatness was waiting for the light of belief to uncover it. Never confuse hidden with absent. Some of the greatest qualities inside you have simply been waiting for the right moment to emerge. People often ask me what success feels like. They expect me to describe luxury, recognition, or financial freedom. Those things are rewarding, but they are not the greatest prize. The greatest reward is waking up without needing permission to believe in yourself. It is walking into uncertainty with peace instead of panic. It is making decisions from purpose instead of fear. Money can buy comfort, but confidence built through discipline creates freedom that no economy can take away. Wealth is not only measured by what sits in your bank account. It is measured by the strength of your character, the quality of your habits, the depth of your relationships, and the ability to create value wherever life places you. When you become valuable, opportunities begin searching for you. There will always be voices trying to convince you that your dream is unrealistic. Some will speak from jealousy, others from fear. Many simply cannot imagine a future larger than the one they accepted for themselves. Do not hate them, understand them. Their limitations do not have to become yours. Every generation is changed by the few people willing to believe beyond the limits of common thinking. History never remembers those who waited for unanimous approval. It remembers those who acted while everyone else was still debating whether it was possible. You have another decision to make. Will you continue collecting reasons why your life cannot change, or will you begin collecting evidence that you are capable of extraordinary things? Your mind keeps whatever collection you feed it. Fill it with memories of failure, and failure becomes your identity. Fill it with proof that you survived impossible seasons, solved difficult problems, learned from painful mistakes, and kept moving despite uncertainty, and suddenly you begin to see yourself differently. Confidence is not pretending you have never failed. Confidence is remembering that failure never had the final word. From this moment forward, stop introducing yourself by your past. You are not the person who was rejected. You are the person who became resilient because of rejection. You are not the person who lost an opportunity. You are the person who gained wisdom that cannot be purchased. You are not the person who was underestimated. You are the person who discovered hidden strength because others failed to see it. Your scars are not evidence that life defeated you. They are evidence that you survived battles many people would have surrendered to. Wear them with gratitude, because they are reminders that you have already overcome more than you once believed possible. As you move forward, protect your mind with the same intensity that successful people protect their greatest investments. Be careful what you watch, what you listen to, and whose opinions you allow to shape your future. Every thought is a seed, every habit is water, every decision is sunlight. Given enough time, your inner world always becomes your outer reality. Plant vision, discipline, gratitude, courage, and relentless action. Refuse to water bitterness, comparison, and self-doubt. The harvest you experience tomorrow depends on the seeds you protect today. So hear these words as if they were spoken directly into the deepest part of your soul. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. You are in preparation. Every lesson you have learned, every obstacle you have overcome, every quiet sacrifice you have made has been shaping the person your future requires. The life you dream about is not asking whether you are lucky enough to deserve it. It is asking whether you are willing to become the person capable of sustaining it. One day, someone will ask how you transformed your life. They will expect you to point to one lucky break, one wealthy mentor, one perfect opportunity, but you will smile because you know the truth. Everything changed the moment you decided that your future deserved your full commitment. Everything changed when excuses lost their influence. Everything changed when discipline became your identity. Everything changed when fear stopped making your decisions. That was the day your breakthrough truly began. So as this chapter closes, I want you to carry one thought into every sunrise and every challenge that lies ahead. When the world becomes noisy, remember your purpose. When doubt whispers, answer with action. When failure knocks, greet it as a teacher rather than an enemy. When success arrives, stay humble enough to keep growing. And whenever you feel tempted to settle for less than you are capable of becoming, remember these 4 words that started this journey: I need you now. Because the future does not belong to the loudest voices or the luckiest people. It belongs to those who rise when no one is watching, believe when no evidence exists, and keep walking when the destination is still hidden beyond the horizon. Your story is not ending here. It is beginning here. Walk forward with courage in your heart, clarity in your mind, discipline in your actions, and unwavering faith in your potential. The life you have been waiting for is no longer waiting somewhere in the distance. With every bold decision, every consistent habit, every fearless step, you are becoming that life. Now go and give the world something it cannot ignore. Let your work speak louder than your doubts. Let your resilience outlast every obstacle. Let your vision become stronger than your circumstances. And when the day finally comes that you stand on the mountain you once believed was impossible to climb, do not simply celebrate the destination. Celebrate the person you became on the way there. Because that person was the real victory all along. The greatest moments in life rarely announce themselves with fireworks. They arrive disguised as ordinary decisions made by extraordinary people. This could be one of those moments for you. Years from now, you won't remember every obstacle that tried to stop you. You will remember the day you stopped waiting, stopped doubting, and finally chose to become the person you were always capable of being. Your future is not written by yesterday's failures. It is written by today's decisions. So make this promise to yourself right now. Refuse to live beneath your potential. Refuse to let fear negotiate your future. Refuse to spend another year watching other people build the life you secretly know you deserve. Stand taller, think bigger, work harder, believe deeper. Every sunrise is another invitation to rewrite your story, and every disciplined action is another brick in the legacy you are building. Whenever life tests you, and it will, remember this: mountains were never placed in your path to stop you. They were placed there to reveal how high you were willing to climb. Storms were never sent to destroy your purpose. They were sent to strengthen the person carrying it. Every challenge is preparing you for a responsibility greater than you can currently imagine. And if no one has told you lately that your dream is worth fighting for, hear these words now. It is. The world has enough spectators. It has enough excuses. It has enough people waiting for the perfect moment. What it needs is someone who is willing to begin before certainty arrives. Someone who chooses action over hesitation, discipline over comfort, and purpose over fear. One decision can change a day. One habit can change a year. But one unwavering commitment can change an entire lifetime. So walk away from this moment with your head held high, your vision crystal clear, and your heart set on becoming unstoppable. Let your actions become louder than your promises. Let your consistency become stronger than your emotions. Let your character become more valuable than your achievements. Success will follow. Because the future isn't calling the most talented person, it is calling the one who refuses to quit. Now answer that call.